How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this episode of YMCA's Virtual Camp. Today I'm going to be working with our honeybees, as you can probably tell by this get up and these beehives that are right behind me. It's not quite as warm as I was hoping it was going to be today, but inside of this hive there's a situation going on that I need to go ahead and take care of. So what we're going to do with this hive is actually go in and we're going to make a split today. And the reason for that is this hive has a queen cell growing inside of it, at least one that I know of that I've been keeping an eye on, and it should be either capped or close to capped now, which means I can go ahead and take that frame and I'm going to split it out to another hive, and then they are going to make their own queen. And the reason that I'm going to do that is to try to stop the queen that's in here from leaving, because if she gets the sense that that other queen is going to hatch out soon, she's going to take half the bees and go make herself a hive somewhere off in the woods, and then she won't be making honey for me, and I want her to be making honey for me and being here at camp. So what I've got right here is my smoker. Smoke is really helpful with bees because it confuses them a little, and it starts to interrupt their system of communication. So they use a lot of chemical signals. Smoke also tells the bees in their brains, oh my goodness, our tree might be on fire. So we need to go ahead and start getting as much of the honey as we can. So they'll start to gorge themselves on honey just in case they have to take flight and go somewhere else if their hive is in danger. To get started, I'll go ahead and take the lid off here. And then inside of that, I've got an inner cover. These top two boxes are called supers. I'm not going to mess with them right now. I will just take a peek inside to make sure that everything is a-okay. There's some bees up top, but really thus far I put this box on about a week ago and they haven't done a whole lot with it. You'll notice that I've got this little pry bar right here. This is called a hive tool. That's because the bees really glue stuff together with this thing called propolis. And propolis is made out of tree sap and some other natural things that bees collect as they're out foraging around their hives. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and pop both of these honey supers off. Typically you'd probably only want to pick up one, but because this one is basically empty, I'm not really having to pick up too much weight. Lift it off nice and easy. All right, the next thing that I've got right here, I'll give them a little bit of smoke just to make sure that they're all nice and calm, is a queen excluder, which keeps the queen from going up into the honey supers and keeps her down here in what we call the brood box. So I'm going to very gently pry this queen excluder off. And in order to do this split, I need to find my queen because I don't want to accidentally put my queen into my new hive. So what I'm going to do is go through this hive and see if I can't find her. Right here you might notice me pulling something out. This is a hive beetle trap. And hive beetles are a critter that lives inside of beehives, and they like to take the bees' food that they collect. So that's just a little trap in there to try to help reduce the number of hive beetles that are in the hive. Give them a little more smoke. And then we're going to just really carefully start going through our hives. On this frame right here, I can see there's some pollen and there's some nectar. Not quite really bright enough for me to actually see what's going on, but I'll spin that around and give you a close-up of it so that you can see those honeybees that are working on that pollen and nectar. I'll just lean them off to the side of the hive. I don't think that the queen is on there. Typically she's going to be closer to the center of the hive and close to where there's brood. And brood is a word that just means where the baby bees are being raised. We'll very gently pick this up. We'll take a quick peek around for the queen. In this hive I do have a marked queen, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find her. Right here I see some brood. There's a little bit of capped honey up at the top. I don't think that she's on here. I'll give it one more pass over before I set it down. Yeah, I don't think that she's here. Right here on the bottom, you can probably see that there are some queen cups. Can't really see down inside them today because it's not very sunny outside, but I definitely will be keeping an eye on those. They don't seem to have anything in them right now, so they're probably okay to leave there. Those are down in the position where typically you would get swarm cells. So swarm cells are when the bees are so packed in that they're deciding that they need to split apart and go to two separate hives. And those are what we want to avoid right now. We don't want our hive to swarm because we want it to stay right here with us. Still looking for our queen right now. Because it's a little bit cloudy today, there's a little more bees in here than I would normally like to come through and work in the hive. And when there's more bees, they tend to be a little more agitated when you're messing with them. It's a little bit easier to work when a lot of the field bees are out collecting stuff, and some of them are out today, but there's a lot more that are inside because it's so chilly. Oh, there's my queen right there. I'll bring her over so you can check her out. She's the bee right there that's got that big green dot on her. So now that I've found her, I've got a little queen catcher right here. And all I'm gonna do is catch her in it. I'm just gonna set her right here. Now she's over there, so I know that I'm not gonna accidentally put her into my new hive. And what I want to do is make sure that my new hive that I'm making is gonna be successful, because it's gonna be kind of chilly tonight. I wanna make sure they have plenty of bees in there to keep that queen cell that's going nice and warm so that it doesn't die. So I'm going to open up my new hive here, which is a little queen rearing hive. It's a 2-nuke hive. And a lot of the bees that are on this brood right here are going to be young bees. This is a big frame of brood. So even though I'm going to take some bees out of this hive, there's going to be no more bees hatching. And this hive is going to be a-okay. But what I'm going to do is actually take some of these young bees and add them to my small nucleus hive in order to boost the population. And the young bees will stay there. The older bees, the field bees, will fly out and they will actually come back to this hive. But the young bees that aren't leaving the hive yet will stay in it. And those bees will help to boost our population. So I'm going to stick it in here and just give it a sharp shake. So that was one frame. Two frames. And we're even going to do one more frame here. All right, so now I've got a bunch of bees that are down in that box, and I'm going to go ahead and readjust my frames that are over here in the hive. And once I do that, I will grab my frame that's got my queen cell on it. So this frame right here has got my queen cell on it. I'll bring it over and see if I can't show it to you. The queen cell is right there. Let's see, right there, that's a queen cell. It's not quite capped over. They're still feeding her some royal jelly. So I will really gently slide this frame down into my box. And, excuse me, I've only got one frame in there right now. So I'm gonna take this other frame, which has nothing on it right now, but the bees should draw it out and fill it in with their nice comb. And I'm gonna stick it right in here for the bees to work on. So they've got plenty of space in there. Give everybody a little dose of smoke to kind of help them back down into the hive. Kind of scoop these bees off the side and then right down into the hive. And I'll grab my lid, I'll close that hive up. Now what I need to do is reassemble this hive. It's really important that I put everything back in the order that it was before. The brood always goes towards the center of the hive. And then the food and resources are typically around the outside of the hive. So I've got a resource frame right here that I'll stick on the outside. And then because I removed a frame from this hive, I'm going to give them a blank frame as well. So give them a blank frame to work on. Before I do that, there's a little bit of comb in here called burr comb. So it's just places where bees built honeycomb that I don't want them to build. So I'll scrape that off to make sure they don't get off to the wrong foot or get off on the wrong foot as they're drawing out this new frame. Put that in there. Adjust all my frames to make sure they're just in the right spots. I'm going to put my hive beetle trap back in. And then I've got my queen excluder that'll go on. Before I put my queen excluder on though, I do need to go ahead and release my queen. I'm going to give my friends a little bit of smoke here. Then I'm going to open up my queen excluder. And then just make sure that I see her go back down inside of the hive. Oh, which there she goes. So she's out and she's back down into the hive. So there's a couple of bees that are still hanging out because they can still smell the queen on my queen catcher. Just give them a little flick back onto the hive. Give everybody a little smoke so that when I put my queen excluder on, I'm not going to squish anybody. And I'll just really gently place that back on. Pick up my honey supers. And get them squared back up on top. Got a couple of bees that are here in the lid, and I don't necessarily want them there because I'm afraid I might squish them. So I'm just going to take them and give them a little bop out in front of the hive. And they'll figure their way back up into the hive, either walking up or flying back up. And now all that I need to do is find a place in my apiary for my new box of bees to live. All right, so right here is our new location for this little split that we just made. We added some sugar water in that jar up on top to kind of feed the bees and entice them to stay there. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will have a brand new queen for this hive. That cell should be closed up anywhere in the next day or two. And then after that, it'll take about 16 to 20 days from when that cell closes up for us to see her back in the hive, mated, and laying some new eggs to start her colony off. I hope that this was a cool video for y'all to see. And stay tuned. We'll be kind of keeping track on this nuke and seeing how it's doing throughout the year to see if we're successful. Bye and have a good day.